This is the User Adoption Podcast with your host, Henrik Dagier.
Who are you and what do you do?
So my name's Oli and I'm the CMO at a company called Bonjoro. And Bonjoro essentially allows you to send personalized video messages to convert more sales leads and to activate and engage new customers.
Oli, how are you involved with user adoption?
I've been working now for about 15 years and I've worked mainly in various CS roles. So I joined then, after about 10 years working in customer success, I joined a company called Verbate that was based out of Sydney. And I came on board to join their customer success team. And something we did when I was with that organization was we basically had our own pain point. We were struggling a little bit to get sort of user adoption and get customers activated. And we essentially hacked together like a little MVP tool that let us send personal videos to new customers or new signups that came in. It was a SaaS business, so new signups would come in the door and we'd send them a video. Mm-hmm. And we started doing this, and a lot of the customers that received it, particularly those that worked in SaaS, were like, wow, okay, this is delightful. This is a bit different. I've never been sent a personal video, someone saying my name as they onboard me. And they said, how can we do this? Like, what have you built? Can we use it? And we're like, okay, it's only very rudimentary at the moment. But a lot of customers started asking for it. So as a team, we were working on this other business, and we actually sort of looked at each other and were like, okay, maybe we should build this out into a full product in its own right. And here we are sort of 3-4 years later, and Bonjoro is our core product, and I work on that as CMO now, and there it is. So it's a hack turned into a product that the market uses and loves now.
Great. Oli, what are the biggest challenges and successes with user adoption?
I think for me, successes is like engagement. So engagement probably means for a lot of companies like getting replies, and to get replies from users, customers, it's all about that sort of trust thing. You've got to get their trust pretty quickly. You've got to stand out. So you've got to think about your business and how are you sort of standing out against what everybody else is doing. Like, we live in a world where there's a lot of automation going on. So clearly there are little sort of gaps there where you can work in the margins and hopefully stand out against a lot of that automation. And alongside the getting replies stuff, like getting success, I think there's a lot of human psychology around that. So I wrote a white paper a couple of years ago about like delighting customers and standing out and getting engagement. And actually there was this thing I came across that was this part of your brain that's called it's the top of your sort of spinal column. It's called the reticular activating system. And apparently when you say someone's name or you say like a film that they've just seen, that little sort of thing basically fires, and you sort of got their attention, so you've got access to their conscious brain. So I think like user adoption is all about like, how can you fire someone's sort of consciousness? Like, how can you sort of get access to their conscious brain? Like, our tool is all about that, because you say someone's name, you do something very personal to them. So I think there are those are the elements of getting success and user adoption. Really the challenges with that, so against that is, for me, it's really segmentation. Like, I think a lot of companies struggle to figure out how to segment their customers effectively, to figure out when they should be doing the sort of hyper-personalized stuff versus when they should be doing the automated stuff. So I think there's a lot more education needed around that, and there are more tools that need to enter the marketplace to let people do that.
And Oli, what advice would you like to share with people working on improving user adoption?
It's a big one. I think the key with user adoption is really experimentation. And I was thinking about this a lot this week. And I think experimentation really means experimenting with different levels of engagement. So I just talked there about sort of, cutting through against automation. So I think it's about like finding the perfect level of touch for your particular scenario. So whatever business you work in, have a think. Like, I was trying to break it down actually before we jumped on this conversation, and I thought about it like this: maybe breaking down and thinking about the level of touch that you use is, so high touch, you could do something truly one-to-one, so completely personal for that particular user. And I was thinking the time to use high touch is probably when you want to drive action or respond to something specifically that they've asked you. And you could have a look at your own sort of data in your own business and think about, okay, when does that high touch model really make sense? So think about segmenting for those scenarios where you really want to drive action and where that interaction is extremely important to you and your business and to that customer. And then you could go a layer down, which is probably, let's call it medium touch. And this is more where you might have groups of customers or groups of users, or maybe VIPs that you don't want to do a one-to-one thing, but they're sort of special to you and your company. And this is probably more the engaging and educating piece of things. So you can't educate every single user personally every time. So maybe when you're looking to do the sort of education piece, think about tools that will help you do something a little bit sort of lower touch, but let's call this medium touch. So, sort of group messages, those group messages might feel much more personalized, more in the moment, let's say, a bit more like, our tool, we've got this thing called roll-ups where you can select like 100 customers, roll them up into one group and send them a video message. It's not just for them, but it's still in the moment and very personal to them and the point that they might be in with your business. And then below that, another layer, I'd say split out your low touch engagement. So this is probably where you're going to want to lean on automation. So typically, this is going to be to large groups of people. And I'm thinking about the term for this, and I guess the terminology would be more like updates. So this is where you're just updating customers with something. So yeah, low touch, large groups of customers, really sort of sending updates where it's not necessary for that medium touch or that very high touch piece of engagement. So that's how I'd break it down. So experiment definitely with different levels of engagement.
And Oli, where can we learn more about user adoption and your work on this subject?
So a couple of places. If you go to bonjoro.com/UAP, you can find more about the Bonjoro tool there. And if you go to the Bonjoro site via that link, and then there's a tab on there called Video Funnel Playbook. I've actually just recently, about 2 months ago, published a playbook which is all about sort of how you can use video to engage and activate customers at all different stages with your business. So whether that's converting sales leads, or whether it's trying to get activation with new customers, or even win back old customers and drive things like reviews and referrals and case studies for your business. So please check out that page. Took about 6 months of work to put that together, and so far the feedback's been really good on that. So it should be useful to you all. Just to repeat that, bonjoro.com/UAP, and you'll find out all about us there. And I wanted to add as well, for anyone that's listening to this and you're interested in using video to engage or activate your users, please sign up to Bonjoro. We do a free 14-day trial. And when you're in the product itself, just go to our live chat and pop us a little message and say that you listen to this podcast. So mention Henrik's name. And we'd be really happy to jump on a 30-minute, 1 hour call, whatever it takes, to really look at your own business and your existing funnels and how you engage customers, and give you essentially a bit of a consulting session to help you sort of figure out how to segment your own customers and really drive action with video. So that's just a little sort of freebie VIP gift for all of the listeners here.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Oli, for giving all the listeners so much value. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
For more on this, visit useradoptionpodcast.com. Don't forget to please subscribe, rate, and review. And for a book about this, check out useradoptionbook.com. Tune in next week for the next episode. Thanks for listening.